与您分享独处的幸福心理学，不是被迫的孤独与寂寞，而是主动回来做自己，在一个人时，在群众里也能享受独处的幸福。
I look forward to sharing with you the latest research about how pain is created, how we feel pain coming from our brain, it's the center of where pain is, feelings are originated, and how we can work with that to improve our mental, emotional, physical, and social well-being.
相信大家都有这样的一个体验，那就是当你心情好的时候，你看到身边的人事物都是美好的。但是俗话说，人生不如意之事十之八九。所以，当我们遇到不如意的事情时，如何能够稳住心情，才是活出幸福人生的关键哦。那我们应该怎样做到呢？
本次的讲座透过情绪的起伏、梦境以及内外的冲突，带领大家一起寻找并遇见真实的自己。
And I would like to invite you to join me for a free webinar called Thriving During COVID-19, Cultivating Self-Compassion and Developing Resilience, on Sunday, February 23rd from 3 to 4:30 p.m. as part of the Resilience and Wellbeing Summit presented by the University of Tunku Abdul Rahman.
3月8号晚上8点，我将带领一场讲座，叫做“好心情，好幸福”，欢迎大家一起来参与，我们到时见哦。
I'm really looking forward to presenting at the summit. My topic is going to be all about finding balance and cultivating resilience. During this presentation, I'm going to introduce you to this idea that well-being is in fact a skill that can be learned.
巴嘎巴，你们知道吗？在马来西亚有一个协会已经默默地为这个群体服务将近30年了，他们就是马来西亚生命线协会。作为一个非营利组织，长期仰赖着赞助者和企业的捐款，不稳定的财务基础已经严重影响了发展规划。因此，生命线协会正在招募950位95爱心使者响应定期捐款，每个月只需要30令吉或者每年365令吉。每位95爱心使者还将受邀参与1分学习3分陪伴的慈善学堂3.0，一起向国外资深心理师学习提升心理健康。现在就加入95爱心使者的行列吧，帮助别人成长自己。
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Resilience and Wellbeing Summit 2022. All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Resilience and Wellbeing Summit 2022. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Seung Woon. But before we start the talk, let me do a quick introduction about this summit first. In conjunction with University Tunku Abdul Rahman 20th anniversary of its founding in Malaysia, we are hosting the first remarkable summit, the Resilience and Wellbeing Summit 2022, together with co-host partner Bodhi Counseling Center and Journey Within Studio. This event is started from 20th of February until 21st of March. So in this summit, we have invited more than 20 speakers from all around the world with different professions, such as mental health specialists, psychiatrists, neuroscientists, psychologists, counselors, and mind training practitioners. They will share with us on how to take care of our mental well-being and strengthening resilience. We are so grateful to have a group of people with us to make this wonderful event happen. As you can see in the bottom of the screen, our dedicated partner includes Local Films, Sinju Daily, Lifeline Association Malaysia, Malaysia Xiao En Group Counseling and Support, Malaysia Mindfulness Association, Inner Journey Academy, Tan Siang Mitra Welfare Association Penang, Kaohsiung Medical University Positive Psychology Center, Taiwan Mindfulness Association, Taiwan Association for Caring and Counseling for Loss, and Alliance Alien. So if you'd like to know more about this event, you may follow our Facebook page, click the like button and share our Facebook page. Your support will certainly motivate us. Now let us move to another slide. I will explain our webinar housekeeping rules. So the first one is please do not record this session by your own. We are having live streaming on Facebook. You are welcome to share with your friends and family and play back the video whenever you want to. So throughout the session, the Zoom chat box will be closed. If you have any question, you may click on the Q&A icon in your Zoom screen and leave your question in the Q&A box. We will open up a Q&A session at the end of this talk. For Facebook user, just leave your message down below our Facebook page, Facebook video. Thank you very much for your cooperation. Next, I'm gonna do a little introduction about myself. My name is Seo Woon, and I'm the moderator of today's session. I'm currently serve as Catalyst trainer in Journey Within. So when I recall back my past history, I'm feeling so lucky and grateful that I have met mindfulness practice in year 2014. Okay, as you can see in the slide, I'm feeling so lucky and grateful because the mindfulness practice has brought me a great support to go through every moment in my life. And in year 2020, I was trained under Michelle and Kelvin, founder of Journey Within, as a critical alignment therapy teacher. And today, I'm feeling so honored by giving a chance to moderating this session, Cultivating Awareness by Venerable Bhante Kumara, who is also my first teacher and the key person who lead me and guide me in the mindfulness practice. Shall we move to next slide? Yeah. So I was so impressed by his, I still remember that when I first attended his first retreats in year 2014, I'm so impressed by his sense of humor and also the wisdom that glowing inside from him. He's such a wise teacher that could always point out my blind spot in the practice. Since then, I started to fall in love with mindfulness and mindfulness meditation and keep practicing until now. I'm so lucky and grateful to have him as a mentor. For those who hasn't met him before, I'm delighted to introduce Venerable Bhante Kumara to all of you. Bhante, yeah, shall we move to next slide? Okay. Bhante was ordained a Buddhist monk in year 1999 when he was 27 years old. Okay, he's graduated with a bachelor degree in education from University Malaya. Inspired by Bhadanta Agachita Mahathera, he is open to teaching beyond orthodoxy and tradition. And he's guided by Shadow Tejaniya in the right view and right attitude of spiritual cultivating leading to ending of suffering. With his training in education, he's been conducting spiritual retreats in various languages, such as English and Mandarin since 2012. Today, he will share with us on what is awareness and how to cultivate awareness. Without further ado, I would like to invite all of you to put your palms together and get a warm welcome to Bhante Kumara. We will pass the spotlight to Bhante. Thank you.
Hello, good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Bhante.
I hear me clearly?
Yes.
All right. Let me start by giving an overview of what I'm going to do for this session. Let me see. All right. Firstly, I'm going to tell you what is awareness. And I'm not going to talk about the why because I think you have gone through a lot. You have heard a lot about why mindfulness or awareness is a good idea. It would be useful to you in various ways, including resilience. So I'm not going to touch on the why. I'll leave I believe you have already had enough of that, and that is why you are here. I'm going to tell you what is awareness. That is the main thing. And with that, I'm going to tell you what is not awareness. And after that, I will give a guided practice while sitting. And following that, there'll be a Q&A session. And then after that, there'll be a guided practice again while standing and with a Q&A session. I will actually give a lot of opportunity for Q&A because I think that's what people need a lot. People are coming into this practice at various levels. So I want to meet you at your level. So let me have your questions at whatever that you're not clear about, please ask. Yeah, this is your session. So let me do my work. You do the asking, I do the answering. All right. So now, one thing that should be obvious to you right now is that I don't intend to have this as a one-way talk. I want this to be like a workshop. I want this to be interactive. So let me start with what is awareness. Now, perhaps it's easier to say what is awareness by telling you what is not awareness. How is it that when you're not aware? Have you ever got into a vehicle, a car, a motorbike? I've never driven a car, I've never had a car license. I had a motorbike license. I've gotten a motorbike, and perhaps you have this experience as well, and intending to go somewhere. And I reached my destination and suddenly realized, oh, I'm here. Have you had that experience before? Yeah, it's like for the whole period of time, although you could be riding a motorbike, for me, I wasn't quite aware of what was happening. Everything was under what do you call autopilot mode. People call it autopilot mode. And I suppose that's why people get into accident, because they are just going by what they're used to do. They are not really paying attention. So I believe you had that kind of experience before. You're doing something, and at the end of doing it, you realize, hey, this is done. It's already over. What was I doing before that? My first recognition of this was, I think, I was having a meal. This was after learning about meditation or awareness or mindfulness. I was having a meal. I sat down, I finished my meal, and then I realized, oh, it's done. What did I eat? It's like you are not really living. You're not really conscious of what you're doing. You can be doing things, but then you don't know what exactly that you're doing. And this doesn't really count as living. You don't know what you're doing. And when this happens, actually, you are not able to anticipate things very well. It's like people get into accidents and you wonder, what were you doing? What were you thinking? Obviously not about the driving. So when you are living like this, you are just going by habits, whatever that you already know, and you cannot respond very well to new situations. So this is a very dangerous situation to be in if you're operating some heavy machinery. So obviously not a good idea. As you practice, if you practice more and more of awareness, you realize that this thing is really, really helpful to you. And because you know what is awareness, you know what awareness does, you are able to cultivate that. You are able to make that stronger in your life. It's not just about whether you're aware or you're not aware. It's also, there's a range, there's a strength of it. When you're more aware, you know what's happening inside you. You know how you feel, you know what you're thinking. And if your awareness is really, really strong, you can also be very sensitive to your perceptions of things. Like, for example, if you see someone, there's a certain kind of feelings that arise, and you can see why those feelings arise. You know the perception behind those feelings. So this awareness, actually, when you really cultivate, you can see how it applies in many ways in your life and how it's useful. So now when you have awareness, what you want to do is try to maintain it. Yeah. Now, I have told you about what is not awareness. So what is awareness is when you become aware. So like you're lost in thoughts, you don't know what you're doing, and suddenly, oh, okay, I was lost in thoughts. At that moment, you are aware. Now, how now awareness is very, very simple. Like I'll show you very, very soon. It's very simple. The thing is, how do you maintain it? How do you sustain awareness? Okay, let's go to the sitting practice. All right, so when I do sitting practice, a lot of people think of meditation and they start to get very, very serious, and then they start to go. I don't want you to do that. All right, I don't want you to do that at all. I would like you to just relax. I want you to relax. I'm wondering, could those people who are the technical people, the masters, the PPT master, if you could turn on your video so I can see whether or not you're responding to what I'm saying. Xiaowen, at least, could you please turn on your video? Yeah, Angus, if you like, or Leon, the rest of you, Michelle, Tai, if you could please turn on your video so I can actually see whether or not you understand what I'm saying. Yeah, that's helpful to me. I get participants' feedback. All right, thank you very much. You don't have to turn on your mic, just turn on a video, that'll do. Thank you very much. So all right, so we are trying to learn what awareness is. So what I want you to do is to not try to do anything. Don't try to not do anything as well. Just don't try anything. Just be yourself. Just be yourself. Don't try to meditate. Don't try to be aware. Don't try to be conscious. Don't try to be at anything. Just be your normal self. Now, right, what happens is that when we are not trying to do anything, to some extent, we are conscious of how we are being right now. Can you feel your body? You can nod your head if you like. Yeah, you don't have to try hard to feel your body, right? Especially if you ask, can I feel my body? You feel it. All right, what else is happening right now? What else are you doing right now? Do you recognize anything? Anybody can just quickly turn on your mic and just say something. What's happening?
The sound.
Yes, sir. Soothing?
The sound. Hearing.
You're hearing. Okay, good. Yep. All right, you're hearing. When you're hearing, you hear what I say. And when I'm not saying anything, perhaps there's some other sound that you're hearing, or perhaps not. But still your hearing is happening. That's happening. Like besides hearing and feeling your body, what else?
Seeing.
Seeing, good. Now, Angus, do you recognize that you're seeing? All right, now I'm going to ask you another question. Before Xiaowen said seeing, did you recognize that you're seeing?
Yes.
You recognize that you're seeing. There's a difference between seeing and knowing that you're seeing. All right, perhaps if you had practiced before, then you can recognize that. But we all see all the time, but very few people recognize that they're seeing. You're doing this, doing that, but you don't know what you're doing. You don't know that you're seeing, you're hearing, you're feeling the body, and all these things are happening all the time. And this is what we want to do. To know that seeing is happening. Now that I'm talking about seeing, I'm sure you can do it much better. Can you recognize that you're seeing right now? Can you recognize that you're hearing right now? You're feeling the body. Now, some of you may start to wonder, that's it. That's all what awareness is. Come on, this is too simple. Anybody knows that. You know? Actually, it is. It is simple. And it is simple things that people cannot actually develop very well because they think it's too simple. When you look down on something, you won't try to do much of it, right? Yeah. But you see, like I said earlier, the difficult thing is how can you sustain it? And it is actually the sustaining that would start to increase the strength of the awareness. My teacher will put it as increase the momentum. It's just like riding a bicycle. You can't start riding a bicycle high speed right from the start, correct? You have to start slow, and then you can pick up speed. It goes like this. And when you stop, you don't suddenly stop. Even if you hit the brakes, it doesn't go like this. It comes down slowly. So the awareness, the strength of awareness also goes like this. It builds up. Right now, as you're listening to me, you can actually still practice this. You can be aware that you are paying attention. And you're paying attention to me. You are trying to understand what I'm saying. You can be aware of this. So as you are paying attention, try as much as you can to be aware that you are paying attention. Try as much as possible. Let me see, I'm trying to change. Okay. Try as much as possible that you are paying it as you are listening to me, you know how you feel. You know how you feel physically, you know what you're doing. You don't have to know everything, but just anything that comes that is obvious to you. Now, here's a very important thing. The object of awareness, what you're aware of, is not as important as the fact that you are being aware. If you can be aware, it's like this light. If it's shining over here or it's shining over there, you're still shining. This is the important thing. It's not the object, the light that's shining on that's important, but this light that that's doing the shining. So this mind that is doing the awareness, this is the important thing, not the thing that it is pointing at. Of course, it has its importance relatively, but this is the important thing. If this light is strong, then you can see things very, very clearly. In fact, if it's very strong, you can see many things very clearly at the same time. And what happens when you're able to do that is that you are able to see how things work, how your mind works, how is it that when you think of certain things, certain feelings come about. And you can be aware from the other direction as well. When you feel certain things, you realize why you're feeling that. Because you are very, very aware. You're very, very conscious of what's happening within you. And you learn about yourself. You really, really get to understand yourself. This is ultimately the purpose of the practice. Really, really start to understand this thing that you have been living with. So as we practice awareness, we want to do that. We want to increase the strength of awareness. So let's try to do this as much as we can. So you're sitting, you're being aware, you're hearing, you're seeing. What else? What else happening? Nothing else. Somebody said, okay, feeling. And how are you feeling? Breathing, great. You feel sensations in your body. You're smelling, okay, lots of smell where you are right now. Okay, there's a sense of touching of the button on the chair. Okay, good. Feeling relaxed. All right. All right. So, like I said, what happens now is not the important thing. The important thing is that you're being aware. And as we continue to cultivate this awareness, we also want to know the quality of the awareness. How are you being aware? Are you trying very hard to try to make sure that you're aware, or you're kind of like, Hokkien people say, chin chai, like, okay lah, a bit aware, a bit not aware, a bit okay lah. If you have that kind of chin chai attitude, like you don't really, not really interested, then of course, this practice also won't go so well because you're not really interested. So interest is important. How you can sustain awareness is, how you can sustain it is because of interest. You think it's important. You would like to know what's happening, and that sustains it. Now, some of you right now may not be feeling particularly happy or peaceful at this moment. And that is okay. That is okay. Because if you take that as just something that's happening, just like breathing or a physical sensation, but not get involved with it, you're stepping out from it, you're being aware. Again, awareness is the important thing, not what's happening. Then when you can pay attention to the awareness, and you'll see that this thing, that this unhappy feeling is just an object. It's just something that's happening. When you're not involved with it, you feel like you're stepping back from it, you're stepping out from it. And so you can be present to your emotions without being involved. Now, this is a skill. This is actually a skill, how to have whatever emotions that you're having, but not involved with your emotions. Now, one of the unfortunate things about, well, I could say unfortunate or not, one of the things that we do not know how to do when we are born as a human being is how to be present with our emotions. So when we feel very unhappy, what do we do? What do we do when we feel very unhappy? Anybody like to say? If you don't know how to be with this unpleasant emotion, if you're really unhappy, what do you do? You eat. Okay, that's the Malaysian habit, right? Just go and eat. Go to the fridge, open the fridge, get something, you eat. What else do you do when you're really unhappy? Sleep, eat, keep quiet, distract yourself from the unhappiness, get drunk. Wow. Take a deep breath, go jogging. Okay, going for jogging and taking a deep breath, that's not too bad. Scold people. Okay, that's one of the ways. All those people are making me unhappy. Right? They are the problem. I'm not the one with the problem. They are the ones with the problem. So I scold them. Like, so these are the things that we tend to do when we don't know how to be with our emotions. Yeah. So that's when we're getting involved. To be aware, my teacher liked to say this, awareness alone is not enough. Now, although I'm saying here cultivating awareness, but awareness alone is not enough. You need to be aware in a wise way. And the wisdom needs to come with the right view of things. Now, if you take the emotions personally, then you're not having the right view because emotions come and go. Sometimes you're angry, sometimes you're not. So if that anger is yours, then it shouldn't disappear. Like if something can be there and then it's not there anymore, well, that's not yours. It's not really yours. This is like the weather. It rains, then it stops. Is the rain yours? No. If things can come and go, it's not really yours. That goes with your emotions. It's same with your emotion. Someone mentioned ruminate. Yeah, that's when you get lost in your thoughts. You go until a point where you don't want to ruminate anymore. You can't stop. You keep going. So these are the things that we don't. These are the examples of how we don't know how to be present with our emotions. We just get lost. And when you are in that situation, you can forget about resilience. You are going in the direction of everything that is opposite of resilience. You are going into non-well-being. So what we want here is to not even, is if you're really good at being aware, resilience is about being able to bounce back, right? Now, but if you're really good at awareness, you don't even need to bounce back because you don't get involved in the first place. This is another level. Yeah, but of course, we're not asking that for everybody. So if you find yourself getting involved and suddenly realize, hey, wait a minute, I'm getting involved. And you bring attention, you bring about the right understanding that emotions are just emotion. In fact, when it's very strong, you have to really remind yourself these emotions are just emotions. Feelings are just feelings, thoughts are just thoughts. When you're really, really getting lost, you really actually have to say to yourself, remind yourself, emotions are just emotions, thoughts are just thoughts. And that helps you to not get involved. That helps you to step back. You have to say that over and over for as long as you need. Now, at a certain point, you find that you don't need that anymore. You can see that it's actually just that, something happening. Sometimes stronger, sometimes weaker, sometimes go boom, 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 boom. But if you can just watch this going up and down without getting involved, you gain something, you gain confidence. You gain confidence of not having to run away from emotions, not having to go eat and put on a lot of weight, then have to worry about losing weight. You don't have to do that. So it saves you a lot of problem, saves you from a lot of problem. So being able to see emotions coming up and down like this, it's a wonderful thing. You learn that you can be okay about not being okay. It's not just an idea that you heard from someone you read on Facebook, but you recognize, hey, this is true. I'm feeling unhappy. There's this unhappy. In fact, you don't feel like I'm feeling unhappy. You feel like there is unhappiness, but I'm okay. Unhappiness can come, it can go. I'm still fine. And when you can see things that way, your life actually changes. It actually changes tremendously, because then you're not afraid of negative emotions anymore. And of course, you have to apply that to positive emotions as well. Happiness, you get involved in happiness, you hold on to it, you hope that it will last forever. Then when it goes away, then you have a problem. Real peace is not happiness. Real peace is where you can have happiness and unhappiness and you're not involved, you're fine. That's a higher level of happiness. Yeah. So, okay, let's get back to awareness. So you still remembering to be aware? Still remembering to be aware how you're feeling. And again, it doesn't have to be something very, very specific. You don't have to direct attention to something specific. It can move. So right now, what's obvious to you? You don't have to tell me. What's obvious to you right now? Just know that. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to tell anybody. You don't even have to tell yourself. What's obvious to you now within the space of a body and mind? Can you see that as just something that's happening? It's just a phenomenon. Could be your breathing, and breathing is happening. Could be seeing or hearing. Just something happening. And if it's something that is unpleasant, I would like you to check if there's any resistance to that. If there's anything in your mind that is fighting against it, there is this push. Just check. At that point, if you find yourself resisting, that is the thing that is important to take note of. Your reaction towards something. Any point of time as you are trying to cultivate awareness, if you find yourself resisting something, that is the most important thing to be aware of, because that is when you're being aware in the wrong way. My teacher would say wrong attitude. When you are being aware in the right way, you're not resisting, neither do you want anything. You're just allowing things to be as they are. That is high quality awareness. And that's what we want to cultivate. This high quality awareness of not getting involved. We are not fighting things. You're not pushing things away. Neither do you want things to change. You are stepping out of what you're being aware of. You know it, but you're not involved. So if you're feeling something negative right now, if you're experiencing something that's undesirable, check, is there any resistance? And if there is, be conscious of that resistance. Know how it feels like to resist. As you are aware of the resistance, perhaps the resistance drops and it goes away. Perhaps it stays the same. But if it increases, then I'll suggest that you don't do that anymore. Move your attention to something that is neutral, like say breathing. Just be aware of the breathing, and you'll likely feel that the body is a little tense. So as you breathe in and out, allow the body to relax. And that is if you find the resistance increasing as you are being aware. But otherwise, just be aware of the resistance, and you may find that after a while, it drops away. And here's the interesting thing when it drops away. When you no longer resist what you are being aware of, you don't mind that thing. You do not mind the presence of that thing. Like, for example, when I first moved here, my neighbor has a daughter who plays the piano. Right, so, and that was during MCO. She had a whole day to play the piano. Right? And we are not talking about concert pianists. You're talking about somebody who is not good at it yet, and they're doing the same thing over and over and over and over the whole day long. Now I've been living in the forest, and coming here is like, oh gee. Right? So I couldn't help feeling a little annoyed. You know, I'm actually a music lover, but I like music that is nicely played, not wrongly played. So sometimes my mind goes, can you play it correctly? So now she's not having a problem playing the piano. I'm having a problem listening to her. So it's my problem, it's not hers, right? I recognize it, my problem. So what do I do with that? Was I became conscious of how I feel. Became conscious of how I feel, there's a resistance to it. Okay. I watched the resistance, and interestingly, as the resistance went away, I didn't mind it anymore. You know, and suddenly there is a change of view. Instead of thinking, oh, do you have to play the piano every day, every morning, every evening, after the night? Instead of that, there is a shift of view. The view was then, this kid is really diligent. She's really, really hardworking. And now I didn't try to bluff myself right from the start, saying, okay, try to change your view. Don't think that she's annoying you. Think that she's very diligent. No, I didn't do that. This idea that she's being very hardworking, it just came about naturally when I was not resisting. And when I was going, it's impossible for this more wholesome kind of idea to come up. It's because I'm busy. Right? There's also the other thing behind. There's this house with an aircon. What do you call that? The one thing that's outside the house. That's the. Can somebody help me here? The something that does the compressor. Okay, thank you, Xiaowen. Okay, there's this compressor which I think that it has been not being serviced for many years, and it was going click clack click clack click clack click clack click clack, and then next door to that house, somebody else moved in, and his compressor also wasn't working well. So at night, when it was very warm at night, some days it was very warm over here, and both of their air cons were on. I felt that the whole night there's this construction going at the back of my house. Clink, 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 clink. Now that's worse than the piano, and so again, I take note of the resistance. And interesting thing was, after the resistance went away, it didn't sound that loud. I thought, that's weird. I thought it sounded louder. It didn't sound that loud. And I learned that, well, this is something that I've learned before, but I learned again, that when you resist something, that thing seems bigger than it is. You amplify it. Same thing goes if you like something. Yeah. So if you like a guy, wow, that guy looks really wonderful. Everything about that guy is wonderful. His head is wonderful. His legs are wonderful. Everything about that person looks wonderful because you like that person. Yeah. Then maybe one day you have an argument with that person. Suddenly that person don't look good anymore. Yeah. You amplify whatever that you believe about something. You amplify that. So okay. So now, so we want to this is what I mean when we practice awareness and we pay attention in the right way. We learn about being aware of resistance and all that. We understand more about ourselves, and when we understand more about ourselves, we get less involved with our emotions. And even when we do get involved, we learn how to come out from it. This is the important thing. We just don't want to just be aware. We want to be aware intelligently. We want to be aware in a way that we can learn from this experience of being aware. We want to learn from this. So, so let's do a little bit more of awareness before we go into Q&A. How do you feel right now? Relaxed, not relaxed, a bit agitated? Just know that as it is. It's important to relax, actually. When you can be aware and relax, your mind becomes more composed. It becomes more steady. And it's this composed state that you don't get hit by emotions so easily. So let's just be aware and relax at the same time. If there's any part of the body that's tense, just be conscious of that tension and see what happens. Okay, Xiaowen, let's do some Q&A, if there's any. So far, I don't see any questions yet, but you can start asking questions if you like to.
Okay. Yeah, can you see the Q&A for the second part of the Q&A?
Right now, I'm looking at the sheet and it seems like there's nothing there.
Okay, there's one question about the awareness.
I'm wondering if, okay, maybe the person who is putting in.
Row number 25.
Okay, now the questions came in. So that's question one and question two, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it's just a little bit slow. All right. Okay, let's start with number one.
Okay. So the first question is, can mental activity like thinking and planning happen together with awareness simultaneously?
Okay. Yes and no. Yes and no. Yes, when you're very, very skilled in it, when your awareness, not just skilled in it, but you have a very strong awareness. But no, if you do not have the skill and you do not have a strong awareness, it's something like this. To be aware while thinking is actually difficult. It's like asking a person who's just learning how to ride a bicycle to ride a bicycle uphill. Yeah, if you're still new to riding a bicycle, you want a flat area. You want to have a place where there's no obstacles, no holes. Yeah. Now, if you want to challenge that person, then of course you put a lot of obstacles and holes, you ask the person right uphill and all that. So, but you don't do that to a beginner. A beginner, when you are new to the practice, you lack two things. One is you lack the momentum of the awareness, and two, you lack the skill. So imagine a person is having on bicycle, he doesn't have the momentum, he doesn't have the skill. How is he going to ride uphill? It's impossible. Now, even for a person who is already skilled in the practice, and if he dropped all, he knows how to do it, but then he has forgotten all about it, he dropped everything, then suddenly he wants to be aware while he's thinking or planning something. That's not going to be possible. That would be impossible because there's a lack of momentum. It's just like you're very skilled in riding a bicycle, and then you're halfway on a hill, and you want to ride up the hill. That's going to be very, very difficult. Maybe possible if it's not too steep, but if it is steep, it's going to be very difficult. But if you have the momentum, you already have the momentum, and you meet the hill, it goes zoom, it's possible. Yeah, so yes and no, depends on whether or not you have the skill and momentum. All right, second one.
All right. The second one is the resistance that you mentioned. Should we always looking for it? Is it more a body resistance or message of resistance mentally?
Okay, don't look for the mental thinking or the resistance. That's a bit difficult. Yeah, just be aware of how you feel, right? And I don't even want to tell you whether it's bodily or mentally, but just recognize that there is this dislike, and because of dislike, there is this push. You don't have to be always looking for it, but you can check yourself from time to time. It's particularly in situations where you tend to get irritated, annoyed. Then do check that, because you'll find that is the thing that is truly annoying, is the resistance. It's actually not the object that you're resisting. If, like, for example, give you an example. Say there's somebody in the office that you don't like, right? So if you're not working in an office, then wherever it is, that there's somebody that you don't like, right? So then when you see that person, you feel something. Do you, right? And perhaps you don't see that person, you heard that person's voice, already there is this build-up of a feeling. Now, what if that person is actually present in the room, but you're not conscious? You're not aware that the person is in the room. You didn't hear that person, you focus on your work. Is there any resistance towards that person? Yes or no? Xiao, would you like to answer?
If I'm too focused on my work, I think I do aware that there is a person in my office.
Right. So there's not even an opportunity for you to resist, right?
Yes.
So in that situation, that person is actually present. He's there, but it's not present in your world. Your world is in your work. Yeah, physically that person is there. So that which annoys you is actually only when you think of that person. In fact, if that person is not in the room and you think of that person, how do you feel?
Dislike.
Yeah.
Uncomfortable.
That person doesn't even need to be in front of you. You only need to think of that person. That person is in your mind. That's enough. So when you think of that person, you feel annoyed, you resist. And then if you're not careful, you get into a story and you resist even more, and it's more and more and more. So actually, it's not about that person, it's about what's happening in your mind. Yeah. So so back to your question. Should you look for it all the time? No, but if you are in a situation where you tend to have it, then do take more note of it. If you are just taking a shower, relaxing, then you don't have to look for it.
And then does it mean that we don't need to look for it, but just be aware that if it's happened in our mind and body, we just aware of it. We don't need to go to look for it purposely.
In some situations, it's actually a good idea to look for it, to check for it. Because there are certain situations that if you don't, you can easily get involved into a story without recognizing that you are resisting. Yeah, because the story is more attractive to the mind. Yeah, we love stories. We like drama. Yeah, people love drama. They watch Korean drama. I get involved with other people's story. So that's a tendency of the mind. So if you are not checking, it's very easy for you to get lost in a story without recognizing that you are building up a lot of resistance. Yeah, so it's good to check in certain situations that where you know resistance tends to come up. It's a good idea. And for as long as the resistance is there, watch that, because that's the thing that's making you unhappy. That's the thing that doesn't allow you to feel to be well. We're talking about well-being here. Yeah. Right, shall we go to the next one? Okay.
The next one is about the aircon compressor that you mentioned just now. I think you did.
Yeah. I think I've already answered that. Okay, next one.
The next one. How is resistance feel? And I'm feeling hard in the center of my body. Does it mean that I'm resisting?
Okay. Heat is maybe a result of the resistance, but then just because you're feeling hard inside, that doesn't mean that you're resisting. Yeah, you could be having a fever. So don't assume. Don't make that assumption.
So we need to keep checking.
Yeah.
Whether it is our body issue or our.
Oh, okay. You are saying a feeling hard. Okay. I thought that you said HOT. All right. Also, don't make an assumption. Don't make an assumption based on your physical sensation. The resistance feels like you are pushing. There's a sense of pushing. It doesn't. It's not necessarily. It's not the hardness that is the feeling. Resistance is more like I don't. And behind that, I don't like this. This is resistance. Like, okay, maybe you want to know how resistance is. Then not difficult. You just go somewhere you don't like, or get near to somebody you don't like, and you can feel it. Yeah, just so they know what it is. Okay, let's go to the next one.
Okay. The next one is, teacher, when start the meditation, my tear keep drop. What do I need to do? Stop meditating after 5 minutes and continue meditation until tears stop?
Okay. All right. Firstly, accept that it's happening. Yeah, don't resist it. Don't fight this situation. Just let it be. Just let it be. Don't try to meditate. Just recognize that this is happening. Just recognize that this is happening. You may, as you recognize that this is happening, that the tears are dropping, you may recognize how you feel. And if that is happening, if the feeling is too much, don't pay attention to it. Just recognize how you feel as the tears are dropping. Just recognize it. And what I would really, really want to encourage you to do is to also check whether you're resisting this situation. Now, I have met quite a number of people who have this situation. As they join my retreats, they will be sitting down quietly, and it could be while they're trying to meditate, or it could be even while they're having a meal. And it is always when they are not trying to do something extra, nothing special. They are just allowing themselves to be so that the mind settles. And when that happens, for some people, they start to tear. And what I think is happening in this situation is that you are releasing certain emotions that you have been suppressing. And this is not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. You're just naturally releasing that emotion. You may not know what story you have behind that emotion. You can guess, but I don't suggest that you guess. Just know what you know, right? When we are doing awareness, we don't want to be guessing. We don't want to try to, maybe this is this, maybe this is that. That's not being aware, that's guessing. And when you're guessing, you're not knowing what's real. You're just thinking out more stuff, all right? So no guessing, just know what you know. So if all that you know is just these tears that are dropping, then just know that. And actually, by just knowing that you're practicing already. You're not stopping it. You're still doing what you're supposed to do and cultivating awareness. It hasn't stopped. Yeah, it's just that situation has changed, but you're still doing doing this thing called awareness. Okay, next one.
Okay, next one is
Number
awareness
6.
that number 6, yeah. Is awareness that you share something similar to mindfulness?
Okay. Now the word mindfulness, it's used in many ways right now, and it's used in so many ways that sometimes, well, not sometimes, oftentimes it's not helpful. People have been using this word to mean so many things, particularly in the West. I've seen one person using it to mean paying attention to breathing and relaxing the body. Well, that's one way, but that's not complete. Yeah, that's not the full picture. That's not, well, that's describing something that has to do with mindfulness, but you can't say that is mindfulness. It overlaps with mindfulness. So what is mindfulness? Mindfulness actually means remembering. Originally, it means remembering. And what do you want to remember is you want to remember to be aware. You want to remember to relax. You want to remember to have the right view of things. That is, like when you're having emotions, in order to not get involved with emotions, you need to see the emotions as just emotions, not as who you are, and not as something that belongs to you. So you want to remember these things. When you can remember these things, then you can practice awareness very well. Yeah. So there is a connection between the two, but mindfulness doesn't equal awareness. Mindfulness is a broader thing, that it is what allows you to be aware and have the right view of things and to remember to relax and all that. I hope that explains this.
Thank you, Bhante. So the next one is, I always felt anxious when something goes wrong. I would think of how the worst will happen, and I'm reluctant to feel that feelings. So how do I use awareness to accept the feelings that I want to run away so much?
Okay, for you at that point, don't try to not run away. Here, the thing that you are doing, that the most obvious thing for you at that point is wanting to run away, right? That's the most obvious thing. So be aware of just that. At that point, just be aware of just that. Don't try to know the feeling. Don't try to even be aware of the anxiousness and all that. Just recognize the fact that you're trying to run away. That is the attitude towards what's happening at the moment. And don't try to have the right attitude towards it. Just recognizing that you have this attitude of wanting to run away is already very, very good. It's extremely good, because this is the thing that prevents you from understanding your anxiousness and your feelings and all that stuff. But you cannot go to that while you're trying to run away. This is the thing that's preventing. So you need to deal with this thing first, this wanting to avoid, to escape, to be conscious of that, how it feels like, what do you end up doing when you're doing this? Learn about this. Because if you do not, then either you're fighting with yourself or you are just allowing yourself to run away over and over again, and you cannot get any better. You're stuck in that pattern. So you run away, and then eventually, okay, because you try not to feel that thing, then almost you try to numb yourself from that thing, and eventually you still have to meet it. And because you have this habit of running away, it ends up becoming you become avoidant. And so for some people, it can get so bad that they use the same method for everything. Every time they feel unhappy, they avoid. Every time they feel avoid, and it becomes there's a psychological issue called avoidant personality disorder. They avoid everything. So that becomes a unhelpful pattern. So in order to undo this pattern is just to be aware of that avoiding. Just be aware of what happens. How do you feel when you want to run away? What do you do when you want to run away? Just be interested in that situation without trying to fix it. This is important. Don't try to fix that situation. Just be conscious of that, and that is good enough. And as you do that, you learn about this and you learn to undo it. Your wisdom grows in regards to this situation. Yeah, and as the wisdom grows, it is the mind that is wise that will let go. And you'll find yourself not wanting to run away so much. And in fact, you'll find that when that happens, the thing that you want to run away from doesn't feel so bad, actually. It is this wanting to run away that is giving you a lot of trouble. Yeah, this will take some time. Yeah. Now, if it's really, really overwhelming, I would suggest that you recognize how you want to run away, this feeling of wanting to run away, together with your breathing. That will be very helpful. You are allowing yourself to know the breathing and this desire to run away at the same time. Breathe in, notice, and breathe out, and you also still know this. Just continue until it fades away. Now, for some people, they can't. When they sit down, when they're sitting down, they just can't do that. So in that situation, then just physically get up, take a walk, while at the same time, you can still be aware of the breathing and this desire to run away. Okay, I hope that's helpful to you. The next one.
Right, thank you. Pandit Kumara, I find that labeling the object of my awareness mentally helped me to see it clearly. So for example, in my mind, I would say seeing, then I'm aware of seeing. If I don't label my sense and trying to be naturally aware of any object that come to me automatically, my experience of being aware feel insecure, unclear, and lack of clarity of what I'm actually aware of. However, labeling my sense to be aware of object feels very mechanical to me and not natural awareness of object that arise. Can I have some advice on what to approach this situation? Thank you.
Okay. I suggest that you stop trying to meditate. Yeah, stop trying to meditate. I think in your situation, you're taking things too seriously. You're making the practice something very, very serious and formal. So I want you to drop this idea of awareness, meditation, everything, drop it. Don't try to meditate, right? What I would suggest that you do if you're trying to practice meditation and all that, don't even sit in this formal posture. Right? There is somebody who, when because of her past experience in meditation, she gets very, very tense. She gets very anxious when she meditates. So every time she sits down, tension comes up. So what I taught her was, and which I would like to suggest it to you as well, don't sit in the traditional meditation posture. Sit like this. Sit like this. Okay, you can sit like this. There's no rule that you cannot sit like this during meditation. You can sit like this. Right? You can sit in a different way. You can lean against a wall if you like. No harm doing that. It's not a it's not unhelpful in any way. It is not lesser in any way. It's because the practice is not about your posture, it's about what you do with your mind. So if you're leaning against the wall or you are propping your hand up, sitting cross-legged or not cross-legged, sitting on the floor, on the cushion or whatever, it doesn't matter. Yeah, the important thing is the quality of awareness. So this is what I suggest for you. I think this is what's happening for you. You are too serious. So when you're able to put yourself, when you put yourself in a posture that doesn't look like meditation, you tend to be more relaxed. You don't try to do this awareness or this meditation thing. So you can relax, and you'll find that awareness is stronger in that way, and more stable. You feel that the mind will be more composed. Yeah. So this is what I suggest for you. Okay, number 9.
Number 9 is how to maintain awareness in long run, because most of the time we are not aware that we are not aware.
Right, you're not aware. You're not aware that you're not aware. Correct. In the practice, definitely is something that is to be done for the long haul. Yeah, we want to continue. We want to make this part of our lives. And how can we maintain this? At least do it most of the time. How can we do that? You can't from the beginning. You can't, because, like I said, the momentum is not there and the skill is not there. It is something that you have to build up. So don't worry about not being able to do very well. Don't worry about that at all. You can find time to just do that alone, doing nothing else. But most of your day, you can't afford to do that unless you're not working and not having any kind of much responsibilities, right? So just do as much as you can. When you're not aware, you cannot do anything. You're lost. It's just like, it's basically just like when you are dreaming and you don't know that you're dreaming. What can you do? Nothing. And during the day, we daydream a lot. And when we suddenly wake up from daydream, oh, okay, all right, I'm back. I was offline, suddenly I'm back online. So continue. How you can only try to be aware when you can maintain the awareness when you're aware. Yeah. So when you're not aware, never mind, forget it. We can't do anything anyway. And somehow miraculously you're aware again. And then just think of how you can sustain that awareness. How can I sustain awareness? One of the things that are helpful to people is to remind themselves. So how do you remind yourself? You can ask the question, what am I doing now? So you could be walking towards the kitchen. So what am I doing? You could be taking a shower. What am I doing? You could be listening to a person talking. What am I doing? Or you could even ask, how am I feeling? These are two questions that are easy to start with. What am I doing? How am I feeling? And this question will increase the interest to pay attention, and therefore lengthen the time that you can be aware. So what happens when you do this is that after a long time, you find that the length of time that you can be aware grows longer and longer. And the time that you lose awareness will become shorter and shorter. It actually takes a long, long time. Yeah, don't expect a miracle. Just keep trying. It is possible to be aware the whole day. It is possible. Yeah, but this takes a whole lot of skill, a whole lot of practice, not just skill and momentum. People who practice a lot, they can do very well. They can come to a point where they can actually be aware the entire day, but this is not easy. It takes a lot of practice, take years of practice to do this. Yeah. So while you're not able to do that, just be happy with what you have. Be satisfied with what you have. Don't be dissatisfied with what you don't have. Right. So you're able to do this much. Be happy with that, and you can be happy with that. You'll be interested to do more of it. Yeah. Instead of getting annoyed every time you lose awareness. When you realize that you have lost awareness, actually at the time you are aware. Be happy with that, and because you're happy with that, there's a positive association with being aware, and you want to do that more. All right. Okay. Next,
during the meditation, how to recognize and differentiate thought and inspiration.
Thoughts and inspiration, 意念 versus 灵感. You don't need to try to recognize it. I think what you want to do is that you want to know whether or not what you think of as 灵感 or inspiration, there's something more real. Thoughts, well, it could be anything. Yeah. You don't have to try to do that. You don't have to think of what you can do to do that. But as you practice more and more meditation, you become more sensitive. And you can recognize a lot of things. Like, for example, even when we say thoughts, there's a difference between thoughts and perception. Thoughts, there's this noise in the head. There's this mind that says, I like to, what should I eat today? Right? And perception does not say anything, but it has an idea. It's more an idea like nice, not nice. It doesn't actually say nice, not nice. So there's a difference between thoughts and what you call perception. Now, inspiration, there's something that just comes to you. It's something that you know. And how can you know? It's because you have a lot of understanding. You have seen enough, and you can know it for yourself. That that's not something that I can actually teach you. But as you practice more and more, you become sensitive, and you just know for yourself. You can even know if your mind is wise or not at that time. Yeah, there's a difference when the mind is wise and when the mind is not wise. There is a difference. You can recognize wisdom, whether wisdom is present or not. And that takes a higher wisdom to recognize it. So all this happens only if you have practiced a lot. You can't, there's no technique to put in. You just have to do a lot of work. Like next one.
What can we do if we are aware that the feeling is too intense, such as panic and pain?
Right. So don't try to be aware of very unpleasant objects or happenings. Don't try to be aware of that, because if you try to be aware of that, you end up increasing the aversion or resistance towards that. Things get worse. So what can you do if in this situation? What I suggest you do when it comes to panic or pain is to go to your breathing. Breathing is something neutral. Yeah. And if breathing is not enough to just bring your attention to something that's neutral, you can stand up and walk. You can be aware of that walking. As you walk, you know you're walking. We'll do a bit of standing practice in a short while. Yeah. Let me see. Do we have a lot? Okay, not too much more. Right. So when you have panic, any panic, for some people, you have what you call panic attacks. What I suggest you do is to go to your breathing. Just be aware of the breathing alone. Now, even though you try to be aware of the breathing alone, you can still be, you still know that you're having, you're panicking. You still know, yeah. But don't focus on that. Just know the breathing while you are conscious of what's happening besides the breathing. Yeah, but you use that breathing as an anchor. As you use that breathing as an anchor, you also recognize that you are resisting. You also recognize that you're resisting the situation. So you can include that in your awareness. Your awareness, you're aware that you're breathing and you're aware that you're resisting. You're not. And as you do that, you might find that the resistance becomes less and less. And then the panic passes away. Now, of course, when there's physical pain, that is of course also important, necessary for you to do what was necessary to lessen that pain physically. Yeah, don't try to, some people are a bit crazy. They try to meditate and then they have a lot of pain in the body. They think, yeah, I want to go through this. I want to go through the pain. You end up actually just making yourself worse. Don't do that. Yeah. So just move away from this undesirable, unpleasant things. Go into something that is just neutral. And later on, you'll find that this, what you call undesirable or unpleasant, if you find that it's actually not that bad. Yeah, it's actually not that bad. It will seem less than what you thought it was. So when that happens, then you can actually go into understanding why you panic. There are sometimes people who join my retreats, they suddenly have some kind of emotions. This tends to happen when your mind settles and whatever the past emotions that you have suppressed, you'll emerge. And because they have already been cultivating, so they can remember to be aware of that. And then as I taught them to be aware of breathing at the same time. And sometimes they get flashes of understanding of why they're having that. Yeah, but you can't expect that to happen. This understanding happens when you're not expecting at all. If zero expectation, then only they can happen. When you're expecting something, forget it. There's no insight. Nothing. No insight comes from expectations. Yeah. So I hope that answers your question.
And then can I ask a question?
Okay.
If I'm aware of the resistance and I'm keep aware of it, and then the resistance grow bigger and bigger, then should I keep watching? No.
Forget it. Yeah, because if you're watching the resistance and it grows, meaning to say you are not able to watch the resistance as it is. You are watching the resistance with resistance. And that is why it grows. So there's resistance, you're watching resistance, you're adding fire, adding fuel to the fire, right? So resistance is not something you try to get rid of. Resistance is still something that's happening. Just take it as it is. Just like maybe you take it like a sensation, but sometimes you just can't do that. You just can't help resisting the resistance. So, okay, so you're getting into this vicious cycle. So get out, move to something neutral, like just breathing. Forget about the resistance. Yeah, later when you're more skilled, when you're more relaxed, more composed, then you try that again, bit by bit. All right.
Thank you, Bhante. So the next one.
Talking about bit by bit. Sometimes when you observe these things that you have a lot of resistance to, you can do it bit by bit. Don't just go all the way right into it. If you find yourself not being able to do it with it much, then just touch it and move away. Just know it for a while and go. Then go to something neutral like breathing. Okay, so if you're ready, then go back, feel a bit, and go. Touch and go. Okay, so after a while, you find that you can touch longer. Right, and you still have to go to something else, but maybe you find that you can touch longer, and eventually you find that you can be with that object for a longer period of time. Okay, right, next one.
Right, thank you. Some have said we can only aware our sense object retrospectively, and awareness is always trying to catch previous sense object. So does it mean this statement is wrong? As Monday mentioned, both sense object and awareness can happen simultaneously if we are skillful.
I don't think I said that. That's not what I said, but let me try to understand your question again. So sense object. All right, whatever that we are aware of, like for example, so this sensation, I can only be aware of this sensation when it has happened. I cannot be aware of this sensation when it hasn't happened yet. Like, okay, now I can be aware. That although it might seem like at the same time, but it's just a little bit later. Yeah, and whatever that we can be aware of has happened. Whatever reality that we can be aware of, what we see and hear and all that, that has happened. It is gone. It is past. There is everything, what you think, what you feel and all that. When you know it, it's over. When you know it, it's over. When you know it, it's over. But there is this thing that's happening, and there is this thing that is being aware. These things are happening at the same time. Right, but what you're aware of is already over. This is what we this is how I look at this situation. I look at this. Yeah. So I think we stop the Q&A for now. Let's go into we'll come back to number 13 in a short while. Yeah. Let's everybody just, can you stand up? Can everyone stand up? All right. Let me try to get back there. All right. Okay, the rest of the host, would you like to turn on your video so I can see you and you stand up as well? I'm going to stand up too. Xiaowen, would you like to stand up? Or maybe you.
Yes, I'm standing on the floor now.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right, you hear me, right? My mic just went off for a while. Xiaowen, can you hear me?
Yes, can.
Okay.
I can hear. Yeah.
All right. So just standing, being aware and standing at the same time is the same thing as sitting. You're just having a different posture. So as you're standing, how do you feel? You don't have to say, I feel this, I feel that. The question is just meant to direct your attention to take note, to be aware, to be conscious of what's happening. The important thing is not how you feel or what's happening. The important thing is that you're being aware. This is the thing that we're cultivating, the awareness. If you're feeling tense, it's okay. Just be aware of the tension. If the body sways a bit, it's okay, fine, no problem. Just be aware of the swaying. And as you become aware, you may recognize more and more how you feel. Maybe you notice your breathing while you're noticing the standing. And maybe other things too. Is the body relaxed? Is there any resistance in the mind towards anything? It's okay if the mind is thinking. We are not trying to suppress thoughts. If there's thinking, fine. Just don't get involved with it. Just know that it's happening. It's all enough. If there is thinking and you're conscious that thinking is happening, you're doing very well. Just don't get involved with the content. Just know that the mind is having some kind of activity. Okay, you can take a seat now.
Bante, we can't hear you. No, yeah. No. Cannot, sorry. We cannot hear you. Yeah. I think maybe you can try to remove the head and then connect again.
Just hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you've done that correctly just now, what you find that even just a short time of just allowing things to be, not trying to do anything, just being aware would bring about some level of calmness, some level of stillness, some level of composure to the mind. So it doesn't take a lot of time to recognize the benefit of it. So if you can do it for a longer time, then of course it'll be different. And if you can do it in your daily life, while you're eating, or while you're talking, or well, that takes a lot of practice actually. Or you can do it in your daily life as you are sweeping, as you are taking a walk, as you are putting on your clothing, getting up, sitting down. Then you find you start to learn how to do this, how to do this very well, how to not just how to do awareness very well, but also you also learn more about yourself. Yeah, and this is what we want to do. So let's get back to questions.
Thank you, Bhante, for your guidance just now. Okay, the next question is, okay, you mentioned about skill and momentum. So does it mean that someone who has developed strong awareness skill if stop practicing will lose the momentum and weaken his awareness? Definitely,
yes. If you stop practicing, the awareness will weaken. It is not something that belongs to you. It's just like I don't know, maybe if you run, you jog, and you know how to run. Practically everybody knows how to run. You're capable of running, but being able to run for a long time, that something that requires you to practice. You need to build what do you call what's that word? To be able to last for a long time, what's that word? An English word? Sadly can't remember that word. Someone help me. There's this word to say that if you can sustain for a long time. Okay, maybe someone might be able to help me later on.
Perseverance?
No. Meaning to say physically you can handle the long jog or the long exercise. Stamina, okay, somebody gave me, yeah, here. All right, so stamina. The stamina is not something that belongs to you forever. If you stop, then your stamina drops, yeah? But if you want to rebuild that, if you have done it before, you want to rebuild that, it's not difficult. Because somehow there's already this understanding of the body to how to rebuild that. Same goes with meditation or practice of awareness. Yeah, if you stop practicing for a long time, you lose it. But you'll be able to pick it up much better compared to when you started, because you understand. Okay?
Okay. The next question is, sometimes I feel there is a gray area between accepting and run away. At the time, I believe that I'm accepting, therefore...
wait a minute. I think this number 14, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, number 14, what to consider to make tough decision? I'm confused now whether to continue or stop.
Continue or stop what? I think you'll continue to try to make a tough decision, I suppose. Then stop. Don't try to. You see, when we want to make a decision, a tough decision, what's happening here is perhaps we lack information. If we don't have enough right information, then we cannot make a decision. Yeah. So to force yourself to try to make a decision right now will just confuse yourself even further. So just stop. Allow yourself to relax. Allow yourself to take a break, calm down, practice awareness. Yeah, awareness allows you to know if you're actually relaxed. Because if you're not aware, you can't really know if you're relaxed or not. So just stop, relax, take your time to calm down. It's just like this, yeah. Sometimes we lose something and we are very, very eager trying to find that thing. We can't find it. We look, search all over the place. We can't find it. And later on, we give up, or well, for whatever reason, we had to give up. And when we are relaxed, suddenly we remember where that thing is. Yeah, the mind becomes clearer at that time. The mind is operating at a different level. So if you're forcing the mind to work clearly, it cannot. You have to let it calm down first. And once it's calm, it's clearer, then it can do its job better. Yeah. So just drop the matter for a while. Yeah, just drop the matter. But although you say drop the matter, you're still interested. So as soon as the mind is ready, somehow the answer comes to you. Yeah. Right, 15.
Right. Number 15. 16. Oh, sorry, the 15. Sometimes I feel there is a gray area between accepting and run away. At the time, I believe that I'm accepting. Therefore, a thought arose. Am I running away? How do I verify whether it is accepting or running away?
Very easy. That thing that you're running away from or you think you have accepted, think about it and watch how you feel. Just honestly watch how you feel. If you have really accepted something, you don't mind it at all. You don't mind yourself thinking about it too. It's just a thought, it's just a story. But if you are still running away, means to say that when you think about it, there will be some unpleasant feeling. There might be a resistance. There might be some negative feelings. Yeah, so very easy, just think about it, allow yourself to think about it, and honestly check how you feel. When we accept something, it is, for some people, it's like, okay, I've accepted, I've let go of the matter. But what they have done is they are just applying this idea of acceptance and letting go, but they haven't actually done that. For a lot of people, they say, okay, I accepted, I let go of it, so I'm not thinking about it anymore. If you really have actually accepted something, have actually let go of something, then you don't mind thinking about it. It is when you let go of something or accept something doesn't mean that you don't think about it anymore. It means that whether you think about it or not, it's fine. It's the same. Then you can know that you have really accepted or let go. Right, next. We are not asking all about awareness here, right? Are we? Yeah, but it's okay. They're good questions.
Okay.
16.
Okay, 16. Bhante, I find that on present day, my awareness is higher. When I'm angry and annoyed, my awareness is lower. Then I regret what I say later. Such as contrary, because I like present day, but it makes me not wanting to practice. When bad days come, it pour and beat myself up again for not practicing during the present day. Can you avoid this?
Okay. Oh dear. So, so what to do? All right. Now, if you're really a practitioner of awareness, if you're really a practitioner, you don't think of whether it's a good day or a bad day. Whether it's a pleasant day or unpleasant day, you practice. It's like whether it's raining or not. Let's say you do go to work. Like raining or not, you have to go to work. You go to work. You don't go to work only when it's when it's not raining. You do what you need to do. That's your job. Of course, if you only would go to work if it's not raining, you lose your job. You'll be fired. right? So even if you are not feeling good, you should practice, because actually, if you don't, you feel even worse. And when the days are pleasant, you should also practice, not so that you reduce the pleasantness of those times, but so that you can be conscious. You can be conscious and know what's happening. You're not lost. In fact, it can be even more pleasant. Yeah. So practice no matter whether it's good or bad, so-called good or bad. Yeah, no matter what. Practice when things are fine, of course, it's easy to be aware. Of course. Yeah. Like when everything's going fine, sure. But we can't just expect that. In fact, if I know one girl who decided, well, she took time off from her work, and so she practiced for 2 weeks on her own. Well, she would ask me questions from time to time through Facebook Messenger, and I'll give them her answers, give her guidance. And although she was alone, she was able to do well. And after that, when she went back to work, she was still doing it. And what actually motivated her was because there was unpleasant feelings. She was still dealing with some unpleasant stuff. And when there is this unpleasant feeling, she feels more motivated to practice, because if she doesn't, then she gets involved, she gets lost in it. So the unpleasantness becomes the motivation. Now, you also want to practice when days are nice, because that will build up momentum for you. Yeah. And so that you won't have so much of those unpleasantness. This is something that you have to learn for yourself. If you think that, okay, when it's easy to practice when days are pleasant, it's those times that you don't really try to practice. You're just enjoying your day. Yeah. So but then you don't really practice. Then because you don't practice, then negativity can build up. Your liking and disliking can build up. Boom, 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 boom. Without your knowing, it goes up. And then suddenly it hits you, boom. Then you regret. Yeah. So the practice is not for good days or bad days. It's practice for all the days. Because whichever day is good or bad, the practice makes your day better. That's it. You're not don't look at results. Look at what you can do. If you're looking at results, then of course you would tend to not make the right decisions. Yeah, look at what cost that you can put in order to make things better for you. What are the causes that you can put? What are the conditions that you can put in? And you want, one of them is to be aware, to be conscious of what's happening, and so that you don't create a situation unknowingly. We don't create all these conditions that would make you unhappy. Yeah, I hope that helps.
Thank you, Bante. I think the time do you want to answer the last question?
Let me see. Our time is until 11:30, right?
Oh, sorry, 11:30. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, my fault. Okay, the next one. During meditation awareness practice, I felt tingling sensation. I will not put tag as unpleasant, but a bit fuzzy. What is that? Isn't resistant. After a while, it goes away and my breath feels like could run through me like I'm a hollow pipe, and then I don't feel my body, but I know I'm here.
Okay. All right. Don't interpret that. Don't think this is this, that is that, whatever. Just know it as a tingling sensation. It's just a sensation, no problem. Yeah. As you in our bodies, we tend to just what I think it is, yeah, but it doesn't have to be true for you. In our body, we tend to have some physical clogging, yeah. There's some stagnation here and there. And as you relax, the energy of the body starts to flow better. And although it starts to flow better, there are certain areas where it's still a bit stuck. And as the energy tries to flow through, you feel something. Yeah. So then, but after a while, the energy pushes through, and then you feel relaxed. So maybe that's your hollow pipe feeling there. Yeah. So you don't feel the body so grossly at that time. It feels more pleasant. And at that time, again, check if there's any liking or disliking. Some people in that situation would like it. Some people don't like it. Yeah. Why would they not like it? Since it could be pleasant, they're scared. It's like, what is it? What is this? Yeah. So then there are some people who like, oh, this is nice. How can I keep with this? I keep having this for the rest of my life. So check the liking and disliking, because if you don't, then you increase them. And if you're scared, then you don't want to practice anymore. If you are liking it, then you end up going to some strange, getting into some strange situation. Don't do that. Always, when something new happens, check your attitude. Something new happens, check your attitude. Is there any liking or disliking towards this? Yeah, that would keep you in the right place. That will keep you practicing in the right way. Okay, next one.
All right, thank you. Sometimes just looking at the skies for an hour or more, it is considered as normal in cultivating awareness even after the body found the energy recharged back into body, especially positive energy.
I'm not quite. I'm not too sure if I understand your question, or if there's a question at all.
I think this is not a question. This is
Okay.
Experience.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, then let's go to the next one then.
Okay. If something argument is happened, the feelings bigger and bigger, how to respond?
Shut up. Shut up. Stop talking. No matter what, shut up. There's no way you can solve this problem by saying more. When there's anger in the mind, there's nothing that you can say that can be wise. It's impossible. Even if you try to say things in the best possible words at that time, the tone will still be wrong. So the best thing to do is to shut up. And if you can't shut up while being with that person, move away. Come back later. Yeah. Don't stay. In that situation, the mind that is angry wants to get back at people. It wants to be right and all that. It's a crazy mind. At the time, the mind is just crazy. It is not in the right state. So don't trust what it believes to be right. It cannot be trusted. So the best thing to do is to shut up. Don't let the mouth speak whatever that comes up in that mind, that mental state. Yeah. When your mind calms down, you would think about it differently. Yeah. So the way to respond, I would suggest, is to shut up, and if it's necessary or suitable, move away. Okay. At that time, that's as much awareness as you can do. You remember to do the right thing of shutting up. That's the least that you can do. Yeah. And you move away, then start watching your breathing. Maybe notice the desire to say whatever that the mind wants to say, but just go back to the breathing again. You need to give yourself a break. This is not, you're not getting, you're not depriving yourself of anything. You're actually giving yourself a break and allow your mind to calm down and bring about a more pleasant state of mind. So you're doing something good for yourself. Okay, so next one.
So the next one is, when we talk about perception, concentration, and wisdom, they are the biggest weakness for a beginner, especially some student with no patience. How to lead or guide them?
Yeah, you're not asking for yourself, huh?
No, not me.
I mean, this person is not asking for himself. Firstly, I don't use the word concentration. I don't teach concentration. The idea of needing to concentrate in the practice has caused a lot of problems for many people. In that they try to force the mind to stay in one place, to focus, and that involves a lot of heavy use of energy. And that can bring about a lot of unpleasant states. And when it's unpleasant, who wants to practice? Who wants to do anything that makes them feel worse? Yeah. So what instead of concentration, I use the word composure. You know, or another English word would be collectedness. In Chinese is ting, and ting is not concentration. Yeah, it's just stability. When you say ting in reference to the mind, to the scene, you're referring to a stable state of mind, a steady state of mind. Yeah, you're not referring to they're focusing on something. So this is a thing that allows us that brings about well-being. The stable, composed state of mind. Yeah, not like this. So when you're practicing in a way that brings about this stableness, it's nice. It's a very nice thing. If you feel good when you're in that situation. So when it feels good, why not do more? You will want to do more. Yeah, you would want to do anything that brings about unpleasantness. Yeah. So if a person can see some benefit in it, then that person will want to do more of it. If the person cannot see benefit in it, then I would suggest something that there's some need to look into it. Stop what you're doing, check what is it that is creating this unpleasantness. Yeah, because if you don't do that, then you are continuing doing something that could be harmful to you. Okay. All right. So I think that's all the questions. We have done all the questions. So Xiaowen, back to you. Your mic is off.
And Bante, we have more questions. Would you like to answer?
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I will.
Okay, we still have some time. Let's finish up our entire time, our whole period, 11:30, right? Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, this is something about the awareness and the meditation. Is awareness same with meditation?
Yes, but of course the word meditation is a larger word. It covers a whole lot of stuff. You can the English word meditation is actually just to think deeply. It's actually I think it's from a Christian background. It's to think deeply. So you can meditate on anything. But you can really meditate, and you can meditate on money, like money. You can meditate on anything. You can actually use a mantra. Some people use some words to repeat over and over. Yeah, you can do om, as some people do. Or you can do Coca-Cola. That's also possible. You can meditate on anything. But when it comes to awareness kind of meditation, you are wanting to build awareness. Yeah, building awareness so that the awareness becomes strong, the mind becomes steady, and with that you can learn about the body and mind, how what conditions, and so you know how to live, and through that you actually get an understanding, a knowledge that you can apply in your life. that is the time when you can really know that the practice is bringing you real benefit. That's when you can, it changes your life. It changes your life. Yeah. So meditation is a pretty wide, it's a very big word. You can cover a whole range of things. But what I'm teaching here is the kind of meditation that builds awareness, then bring about a lot of benefits to you. I don't find the question listed on the spreadsheet now, though. Do you have any more?
Yes, I post it on the spreadsheet. Wait a minute. Can you see now?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, this is a very interesting question. Can we still practice meditation when we are falling sick? Can meditation boost up the immune system?
And get well soon. Yeah, maybe even deal with COVID. Okay. All right. Can you practice when you're sick? My answer to that is, when you're sick, you should practice even more. You should practice even more when you're sick, because when you are sick, the body feels unpleasant. And when the body feels unpleasant, you tend to resist, you dislike. And when you resist, you actually make the body even more unpleasant. So when you're practicing, you can reduce the unpleasantness of that situation. Yeah, it's not that whether you can practice or you can practice and where you should practice. Some people think, oh, I'm sick, I cannot practice. My teacher say, you're sick, you should practice. You better practice. Yeah. Or some people say, I'm very busy, I cannot practice. You're busy, then you should practice. In your busyness, then your mind is less busy, you can do things better. Okay, meditation boosts up the immune system. Not directly, I don't think directly. But what happens is that when you are meditating, you can relax. And when you relax, the body can heal itself much better. When you're tense, when you're resisting, then that brings about tension. The body doesn't do a good job. Yeah, so in that way, yes, it's helpful.
Okay,
next one.
The next one. Okay. Should we set up a time to formally meditate or just aware throughout the day?
I'll suggest both. Both. Yeah. Of course, sometimes on Sundays you just cannot have that formal time. Then that's it. Yeah, just do as much as you can. If you have a time to just just formally meditate, whether you're walking or sitting, don't think that sitting is better than walking or standing. Sometimes walking is actually better. You can do much better while you're walking. Just find a place where you can walk up and down comfortably at the pace that feels comfortable to you. Don't try to walk super slow as some people do. Yeah, just walk naturally, walk up and down while being aware. Feel yourself. Maybe you're aware of your mental state, maybe you're aware of your feelings or the walking itself, whatever it is, and you build up awareness that way. Yeah, and at other times, it's actually harder to practice awareness while you're engaging with other activities, like say, but some activities are not too difficult. Like for example, you're in the toilet. Toilet's easy. Yeah, just sitting there. You're feeling aware. Maybe you smell something. Yeah, well, it's not too difficult to be aware. Maybe some resistance. So, or you're taking a shower. Certain thing in some activities not too difficult. The difficult ones are like talking or eating. Yeah, if you can be aware while eating or talking, your practice is very good. If you can sustain that, yeah. So I would suggest that you do both. Yeah, have both. Don't be so rigid about things. You don't try to make a rule out of things, because that will create tension in you, that you will feel happy about it. But be interested to practice. Then you might find yourself doing more and more as the days go by. Right, awareness, same as meditation. I think I've answered that, right?
Yeah. So the next one, I think, can this question is about, can meditation and being aware help people to help people to avoid from gambling and alcohol?
Alone, definitely not. You can't on its own. You can't. To deal with this situation, you do need a lot. Firstly, you need to have the right understanding about the situation. You need cognitively, you need to have the right view about the situation. Is this something that brings about happiness for you? Yeah, do you want to continue with this? What does doing this deprive you of? You need to have a strong motivation to stop. Yeah, and to have that strong motivation, you need to be able to see it in the right way. Yeah, if the mind still somehow believe that this is better, then you can't stop. Of course, then also that the actual stopping physically, you need to avoid that situation, to not get close to people who are in doing these things. All these things are necessary. Yeah, that there needs to be a change of behavior, how you need to structure yourself, your life, in order so that you don't get involved, as tend not to get involved. Then before I was talking about the cognitive part. Yeah, this is in cognitive behavioral therapy. You need both. At the same time, you do need the meditation part that helps you to remember not to get involved, to remember to think in the right way. Yeah, and also with the awareness, your mind is more steady. So when the urges come, you can be aware of the urge as it is. You can be aware of the urge as it is, so that you're not sucked into the urge. So you need to have that meditation bit, so that awareness bit, yeah, and so that there is a more composure, more awareness, more clarity, and all that. And also, you do need to have the cognitive side, the cognitive change. How do you view this? Yeah. So and then also you need that behavioral part. You need all these three to come in. It can help, but meditation alone is not enough. All right. So I think that's all the time we have.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Bande, for your sharing and guidance, and also the Q&A session. So do you have last word to our participants?
Practice. I have three last words: practice. That's the thing that would help you to grow, help you to understand the practice itself better, so that you can practice better, and eventually you do much in making a better life for yourself.
All right.
That's all.
Thank you. Thank you again for the great and inspiring talk. And it was great to have you with us today in this morning. So thank you everyone for joining us. So, okay. Our technical team, yeah, will help us to share the screen. Thank you everyone for joining us once again. So on behalf of the organizer, I'd like to invite all of you to leave your comments and thoughts in our Facebook live stream post. For Zoom user, you may click on the link in our chat box. Yeah, and it will navigate you to the Facebook video. And of course, if you find this webinar could benefit you and your friends, you are welcome to share it. Okay. Next. So I'd like to share our upcoming events after this talk. So yeah, so you can see here the upcoming event is the Mandarin is by 钟成红博士. Okay. 后疫情时代心理防疫术正念减压的练习 on 15th of March, Tuesday, 8 p.m. until 9 p.m. And then the next one is from Dr. Yoka King, Mindfulness for Resilience and Well-being on 16th of March on this Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. until 9:30 p.m. So save your time and date, and we will see you soon. All right. So next one. Before we are leaving, I would like to promoting the Utah Hospital. Utah is now setting up a hospital in its Kampar campus. This hospital is a non-profit hospital that aims to offer quality and affordable medical and health service. Also provide the clinical training for medical health science students. If you are keen to support this project, you may click on the link below for donation. So we appreciate very much for your contribution. Thank you once again for everyone, and we will see you soon in next talk. Bye-bye.